What if I told you that the story of our earliest ancestors leaving Africa, a story we've been told for decades, might be completely wrong? For the longest time, the scientific consensus was pretty straightforward. About 1.8 million years ago, a single pioneering species called Homo erectus was the first of our kind to venture out of the African continent. They were the trailblazers, the sole adventurers who spread humanity across the globe. This was the clean, simple narrative taught in textbooks and shown in documentaries. But what if the real story was a lot more crowded and a lot more interesting? Get ready to have your mind blown, because a groundbreaking new study is shaking the very foundations of human evolution. The evidence comes from a remarkable archaeological site called Dmanisi, nestled in the country of Georgia. For years, Dmanisi has been a treasure trove for paleontologists, yielding some of the oldest hominin fossils ever found outside of Africa. These fossils, all dating back to that crucial 1.8 million-year-old period, were initially thought to belong to a regional variant of Homo erectus. It made sense. They fit the timeline and the prevailing theory, but science is all about questioning, re-examining, and looking closer. A team of researchers decided to do just that. They took a fresh, detailed look at the Dmanisi fossils, specifically focusing on a part of the skeleton that tells a fascinating story, the shoulder. Their findings, recently published in the scientific journal PLOS ONE, are turning everything we thought we knew on its head. The study suggests that the group of early humans at Dmanisi wasn't a uniform population of Homo erectus at all. Instead, it seems they were a surprisingly diverse bunch. So what exactly did they find in these ancient shoulder bones? The analysis revealed a mix of traits. Some of the shoulder characteristics were very modern, closely resembling those of Homo sapiens. That's us. These features suggest an ability for efficient, long-distance running and tool use, hallmarks of a species adapted to life on the ground. This fits perfectly with the classic image of Homo erectus, the skilled hunter and traveler. But here's where it gets wild. Other shoulder bones from the very same site showed much more primitive, ape-like features. These primitive traits are more suited for climbing and spending time in trees. To have both types of shoulder anatomy present in the same place at the same time is a massive puzzle. It's like finding a brand new sports car parked next to a horse-drawn carriage and being told they both came from the same factory on the same day. It just doesn't add up under the old model. This discovery has led to a radical new hypothesis. The first great migration out of Africa was in a solo act by Homo erectus. It might have been a group event, an exodus involving multiple species of early humans. Imagine a world 1.8 million years ago, not with one type of human ancestor exploring new lands, but with a diverse cast of characters. Some were better adapted for life on the open plains, while others still retained the ability to navigate the forests. They might have lived side by side, competed for resources, or even interacted in ways we can only begin to imagine. This completely changes the picture of our evolutionary journey. Instead of a single, linear path where one species neatly replaces another, the reality was likely a much more complex and dynamic mosaic of different hominins coexisting and spreading across the landscape. The Dmanisi site, therefore, might not just be a simple outpost of Homo erectus. It could be a snapshot of a multi-species migration event. Think about what this means. It forces us to reconsider the very definition of early Homo. Was Homo erectus as uniform as we thought? Or was the name Homo erectus just a convenient label we slapped onto a whole range of different-looking hominins? Some scientists are now suggesting that the variation we see at Dmanisi is so great that it could impossibly be contained within a single species. The individuals with the primitive, upward-oriented shoulders might belong to an entirely different, as yet unnamed species, or perhaps they were a late-surviving population of an earlier hominin, like Australopithecus, that managed to journey all the way to Georgia. This isn't the first time Dmanisi has stirred up controversy. A few years ago, the discovery of a skull known as Skull 5 at the site also caused a major debate. Skull 5 had a small brain case but a large, projecting face, a combination of features that challenged the clear-cut definitions of early human species. At the time, it led some researchers to propose that maybe all these different species, Homo habilis, Homo rogalfensis, Homo erectus, were actually just variations within a single evolving lineage. The new shoulder study adds another powerful layer to this argument. It provides postcranial evidence, that is, evidence from the body, not just the skull, that supports the idea of extreme diversity. The shoulder is a critical part of the skeleton for understanding how an animal moves and interacts with its environment. A shoulder built for climbing is fundamentally different from one built for throwing and running. Finding both in one place strongly implies that there were different lifestyles, and therefore potentially different species living together. So, what could have prompted this multi-species exodus from Africa? The environment of that period was undergoing significant changes. The climate was shifting, creating new grasslands and opening up corridors for migration. This likely pushed various hominin groups to explore new territories in search of food and resources. It wasn't necessarily a single, heroic journey, but perhaps a more gradual expansion with different groups moving out in waves, each with their own unique set of adaptations and skills. This new perspective is incredibly exciting because it paints a much richer and more realistic picture of our past. Evolution isn't a neat and tidy ladder, it's a messy, branching bush. And it seems the branch that led to us was intertwined with many others, especially during this critical period of global expansion. The Dmanisi fossils are like a time capsule, giving us a glimpse into this complex world. They show us that 1.8 million years ago, the human family was diverse, experimental, and on the move. Of course, this is still a developing story. This new study is a major piece of the puzzle, but more research is needed. Scientists will continue to analyze the Dmanisi fossils and search for new sites that can shed more light on this period. They'll be looking for more skeletons, more tools, and more environmental data to reconstruct the lives of these early pioneers. What we can say for sure is that the simple story of Homo erectus, the lone wanderer, is no longer the only story in town. The exit from Africa was likely a far more complex affair. A pivotal moment in our history when the world was populated not by one but by multiple kinds of early humans. It makes you wonder what other surprises are still buried beneath the earth, waiting to rewrite the story of us. It's a powerful reminder that our understanding of the past is always evolving, just like we did. Thanks so much for watching. If you're fascinated by the incredible story of human evolution, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the latest scientific discoveries. Let us know in the comments what you think about this incredible new find. See you next time.